What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me. So, news just broke that West Virginia's first transfer since the Bob Huggins news, since he left the program, their first transfer has entered the transfer portal, and it is 6'9" forward Tre Mitchell, who played in all 34 games and was a regular starter for the Mountaineers last year on their NCAA tournament team. He averaged just over 11 points per game. He has entered the transfer portal after forgoing the draft to come back to West Virginia. He originally started his career at Texas, and now he will be on the open market. And guess who he's being linked to? Let's get into it.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
So, of course, with a transfer of this caliber entering the portal so late, spots are going to be limited. But one school that Mitchell is being connected to is those Kentucky Wildcats, and they could absolutely, for sure, use him in that front court, especially with the injury to Aaron Bradshaw, who was pretty much the only person they had to hold down the paint on the roster currently right now anyways. So Mitchell would absolutely help this group. Looking at the tape, you can see from his game, 6'9", really long, agile, moves really well, thin frame, but springy. He's got some bounce. And like I said, I love the length and the fact that he understands positioning in the paint, gets his back to the basket, has that jump hook in the bag, can score it over taller defenders, can go over multiple defenders. Looking at it, man, honestly, they need a scoring threat in the paint, somebody with toughness, veteran presence, who can score the basketball, but isn't like a high-maintenance type of player. You know, he's going to hustle, he's going to get rebounds, get putbacks, and he can pass out of the post, which I love that as well. When the double team comes or when a shot's not there, like you see here, Mitchell's not forcing terrible shots. You know, he's getting it back to the guard, regrouping, reposting up, getting it back, and going to work. I think they could use this athleticism, the way he can get up and down the floor. The versatility would be good for this lineup. And, I mean, honestly, he probably would start at the 4 for this group if he were to go to Kentucky. No doubt about it, John Calipari's got to have his eye on a target like this, coming from a tough conference, a successful program, a player that's been around college basketball for multiple years, has pro potential, and can really be a guy that can take his game to the next level at Kentucky. A really under-the-radar gem that could really boost this front court at depth and a little bit more scoring punch, man, because obviously they have a loaded group of freshmen coming in, but not many bigs, you know what I'm saying? So that's what they're lacking right now, and I think this will be a good fit, a guy that can really get up and down the floor. Obviously, Kentucky and Virginia are running two different systems, but like we said, Mitchell started his career at Texas. So, you know what I'm saying? He can obviously make adjustments and fit into a different system. And I think Coach Cal is really good at catering to the talent and the strengths of his players that are actively on the roster. So I think this could be a potentially great pickup for them. I think they need to be aggressive. And y'all know how Arkansas do in the portal, man. I don't know if they out of Schollies, but if you in the portal and got some talent, Coach M is usually on the phone trying to holler at you. But him being linked to Kentucky makes so much sense. And obviously, you can tell from the fan reaction, people have mixed emotions. It's a lot of pain, but I feel like it should be understandable. Like, you are replacing a coach that the guy came to play for, and he's no longer there. So you kind of got to understand that the kid's got to do what's best for him at this point, for the future of his playing career. And I know that they have been talking to alumni, and they've been on the phone with Joe Mazzulla and, you know, other alumni from West Virginia, trying to keep this transfer group together, as they have a hell of a transfer group coming in, one of the best classes in the portal that they solidified. But they're losing a key cog of the program that really was going to be leaned upon for leadership, as well as kind of showing these new guys the West Virginia way. So I think fans were a bit surprised that out of all people, he was the first person to leave. A guy that had already been on the roster and played and, embraced that Morgantown culture down there. So I think it was surprising that before any of the transfers even broke loose, that Mitchell packed his bags and said he's hitting the portal. But it'll be interesting to see if Kentucky's aggressive and pursues Mitchell, man, because they could absolutely use his talent. He'd be a game changer for that front court, especially, like I said, mentioning Aaron Bradshaw, the freshman 7-footer, who's going to be the anchor in the paint, has a foot fracture, so he's going to miss some time. You need another vet, somebody that can really man that paint, but also has the versatility to step out and play the perimeter too, man. But I think he'd be a really good forward to stick next to Bradshaw in this offense of Kentucky, man. And on both sides of the ball, honestly, on defense, too. I think they would really work well together. So this is something to monitor. And then on the West Virginia side, they're still trying to find a coach. I know Coach May, his name was getting thrown out there from Florida Atlantic, but it just doesn't make sense. He just signed a new contract, as well as having basically he's got his whole starting lineup coming back from that Final Four team. So it doesn't really make much sense for him to cut bait and leave right now. So, they're going to have a nationwide search. And I think this is a desirable job with the facilities as well as the conference, the exposure, the fans, and that NIL money, man. Them boosters and those companies and those businesses around West Virginia, they going to pay premium dollar for players to get them in there in that blue and gold. You already know. So I think that it will be a challenge to find the right coach, but I don't think it'll be a challenge to lure candidates there because they're going to have their pickings. I think it's just about finding the right culture fit and the right person to transition them into this next chapter post Bob Huggins, man, because that's a big figure to replace, especially in a place like West Virginia, man. They love Bob Huggins. So it's going to be tough, man, but it'll be interesting to see how this search goes. You think they're going to have to kind of pick up the pace as the season nears and preseason's getting closer, summer camps, and players are already practicing it on campus right now. Those preseason tournaments and overseas trips and stuff like that are going to be coming up soon. So they're going to want to lock in a coach, man. And I think there will be a few candidates they'll be able to look at, but I think they just need to do their due diligence, man, so they handle this situation the right way. Don't know if Mitchell will be the last transfer. He might not be. This thing could literally implode. This could be the start of a flood, man, a mass exodus. Like, you just don't know. So we'll have more updates and keep an eye out on this, but the first transfer has bit the dust and is out of there. Mitchell, 6'9", forward, played 34 games, averaged a little over 11 points, man. Big loss for West Virginia. We'll see how they rebound. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments about the whole situation. And for all the latest and the greatest, make sure to hit that subscribe button. This is Live with Brandon Blakeney. I am Brandon Blakeney, a.k.a. Brandon Lee TV, and we out.